What's going on, guys? If you don't know who I am, my name is Tyler Glennon. I'm at Real Financial with Bradley and Andy Elliott. Guys, last year at Real Financial, I was able to outsell everybody at the company by over 6 figures. This year, it's my goal to be able to teach as many other people what I've been able to do up until this point in my career in the life insurance space, just so everybody else can accelerate their learning curve and learn the things that I wish I knew when I started, right? Guys, if you want any more information on Real Financial, if you have questions about life insurance sales, whatever the case is, shoot me a text, 610-235-3037. And guys, if this video helps you, feel free to share it with a friend, like and subscribe. And guys, follow me on Instagram, Tyler_Glennon, dropping stuff like this, super helpful content, just to help other people be able to get to, again, where they want to go faster, because ultimately I sucked when I started and I wish I had a channel like this to plug into. All right, guys. So today we're going to be talking about how to profit more from your life insurance leads and how to make more money by selling life insurance, right? I see a lot of people come into the industry. The industry has a super high turnover rate, and for a reason that I think it's just, number one, we're 1099 independent contractors. We have to hold ourselves accountable. So not a whole lot of people have that ability to really stay consistent enough to find enough success upfront early to want to do it long term, which is crazy to me because the longer that we do it, the more residual and the more back-end payouts that we get, and that's when the stuff really starts to get fun. But most people don't make it 12 months. And I think that this video, and if you can follow the steps that I'm going to talk about today, would help you be able to make more money, be able to kind of stack this learning curve that's going to come with being in this industry a little bit quicker, right? So when I got started, I was broke. I didn't have any money, and I needed to make money. And I took out a loan for $1,500 to buy my first batch of leads, and I had to make it work, right? So I did everything that I could to sell to these people and help these people that I had bought their information. So the first thing that I'm going to go over with you guys is super simple. It's squeeze the juice out of your leads. It's call them more, right? Most of the leads that we buy, at least that I buy, are newer leads. They are leads that have not been called as many times as other leads, but these leads that we buy, whether they're aged or they're new, if we called any of them more times than we do right now, I guarantee we would profit more than we are right now. So let's just say, for example, I spend $1,000 a week on leads. It could be aged, could be new. It doesn't matter. And let's just say that I call all the leads like 10 times each. I don't know, right? This is example one. I call them all 10 times. And I sell 4 policies. And I make a little bit of money. Maybe I profit like, $2,000 from that, and I'm happy with that. And I go and get my next batch of leads. Well, if you're in a tight spot and you're trying to make more and profit more from your batch of leads, if I call them 20 times, I bet you that you would find an extra 2 or 3 policies in there at least, right? So I say this because a lot of people, they try to do this like week by week strategy of like getting more leads. And sometimes you're just in a spot where like, you need to start calling your leads more so you can get a higher ROI on that batch of leads to help set you up to be able to build that nest egg to continue to reinvest consistently. I think that a lot of people get caught up in like, how often should I buy leads? How much do they cost? It's like, dude, give me some phone numbers. I'm going to hammer them till everybody tells me to screw off and I can make some money. Like, that's the attitude that I had at the beginning. And because I treated them all like that and I really did squeeze the juice out of them, I was able to get myself out of the hole that I was in, and I was able to start profiting and start making some money. The second thing that we're going to talk about is referrals, right? So if I can sell, Susie Joe a policy, and Susie Joe has a husband and 2 kids, and maybe, they could be looking or they could not be, but if I don't even ask, I'm never even going to set myself up for the opportunity to be able to get them any coverage, right? I can't tell you guys how many times I've sold a policy and I say at the end of it, or I say at the beginning of it, are you looking for yourself or for you and a loved one? And they say, oh, me and a loved one. I would have never known that, right? Or at the end, I say, hey, I'm glad that we have your protection put in place now. The last thing we want to do is leave you in a tight spot so who around you doesn't have anything, because we need to get them coverage as well. And they're like, oh my gosh, my daughter. And I'm like, great, what's her name? And then we just try to figure out what we can get for her, and we try to get her on the phone. And we get her daughter coverage, right? So just by doing that, you can 2x your ROI per lead, right? So if I can get 2 policies instead of 1, if maybe that only happens 25% of the time, if I write 4 policies, well, now that becomes 5 policies, right? So now I'm just writing more business based off of the information that I've already purchased, that I'm already going to be calling anyway, just from asking. I'm opening an extra door. And it's not going to happen every single time, but it does happen from time to time. And I always go back and I call the people that I've previously sold, and I say, hey, we're just doing a quick 6-month policy review. I think that we were going to be getting someone else in the family coverage. Who was that? I can remember, I have a note here saying to check up with you just to make sure that we got someone else in the family coverage. Who are we going to get that for? And I don't really have a note. I'm just saying that. And if they're like, oh, my husband, I'm like, oh, that's right. How old's your husband? Right? And then we get into it. But I'm just opening that door. I'm giving myself an opportunity to now get a little bit more business, help another person with their coverage. And it's just a way to be able to create a little bit more income based off of the money that I've already spent inside my business, right? The third thing, and guys, this is really, really important, is write clean business. I mean, you don't want to have chargebacks, right? So I don't want to give people policies that are going to be too expensive. I want to make sure I'm putting them in an actually comfortable position for them, because it doesn't matter if it doesn't stay on the books. I don't care what anybody says, right? And people are like, oh, like I submitted this much business. It's like, that's awesome. But like, how much of that is staying on the books? Like, I want to know my agents, when they submit business, like I don't want them to have to deal with chargebacks, right? And I say this because a lot of times people are just trying to push it past, push the football into the end zone just to get the touchdown. And what they think is a touchdown is not actually a touchdown, right? Because the person still has the ability to cancel it. They still have the ability to not want the policy. So if they're not actually happy with it, Zig Ziglar says this: the product is not sold until the person has paid for it and is happy with the result, okay? Think about that. So when you're selling a policy, think about it not even being your money yet, or think about it not being completely sold until that person is actually happy with having it, okay? So what can we do to make sure that that happens? Well, number one thing is I can make sure these policies are actually affordable for these people. The last thing I want to do is put anybody in a tight spot. So if it's not going to make sense in 6 months, it's not going to make sense for me to do it today. We'll always start low, come back and add more on later. Okay, I used to say, when I sucked at this, I used to say, hey, you don't even have to pay for it today, right? And people were like, oh, okay. And I was like, yeah, we're just seeing if we can just get you approved for coverage. And number one, I would either get to the banking part of the conversation and they would have to like give me their payment. And they're like, I don't understand. You said that we were just seeing if we can get me approved. Why do you need my banking? And I'm like, well, the insurance carrier needs it. And they're like, this is weird. You just told me we weren't buying it today. And I'm like, well, we still need it, right? And they'd hang up. Or when I did get through that point, they would be like, I'll call them back in like 3 weeks and be like, hey, like just wanted to let you know your policy's set to start next week. And they're like, I thought we were just seeing if we can get me approved. Let's cancel that. I don't actually want that. It's not a good time for me to start that, right? So just writing business that's actually going to be on the books. Hey, we want to make sure this is comfortable and affordable for you to be able to start in the next 30 days, the next week, the next 2 days. We're going to look at 3 different options just so we can make sure we find something that's going to be not only comfortable today, but in 6 months, 12 years down the road as well, right? I'm going to tee that up, say something along the lines of that, just to give them the knowledge that we're not going to be just submitting to see if we can get them approved. I want them to know that we're getting them a policy, right? I want to be on the same page with them. We need the banking info because you're going to have to pay for it with that. That's the truth. And I just want to be really transparent with them about that, because the more transparent I am up front, the less confusion and stress and chaos there is on the back end. Okay? Guys, and most people, I think that most people are not there to actually help the client and really help the people find something that's best for them. Maybe they I guess for an example, they have commission breath, right? And they're kind of like doing it for them. They're in it for them. And we have the great opportunity to be able to make a lot of money. But when you change your focus and you shift your perspective on what we're doing, these people need coverage. So we got to help them. I want to understand my clients' situations. I just want to talk to them and be open with them and listen to them and ask them questions so I can really customize and structure something that actually makes sense for them. And when I come at it from that perspective, rather than me trying to get paid, I'm able to help a lot more people. And as a result of that, I'm able to get paid more. And Zig Ziglar has another thing where he says, you can have everything in life you want by helping enough other people get what they want, right? Helping other people get what they want. Not selling or conning or being a con artist or tricking people into this. No, they want it. Let's just help them get the right thing for them. and do it the right way by following those 3 steps. Guys, again, it's going to be squeeze the juice out of those leads. It's going to be find those referrals and those warm market policies that you're going to be able to write for free. Number 3 is going to be just write clean business to really take care of these people. All right, guys, if this video helped you, share it with a friend. I'm sure if you got something out of it, they will get something out of it as well. Follow me on Instagram, guys, Tyler_Glennon, dropping tons of content out there, just trying to help other people be able to get to where they want to go a little bit quicker. And guys, if you want any more information on Real Financial, feel free to shoot me a text, 610-235-3037. And don't forget, like and subscribe. All right, guys, see you in the next video.